Um, once again with Awaken Israel, and we're gonna be continuing the scripture reading of Second Samuel. Okay, and this is part of a playlist. So if anybody wants to go back and see the other chapters has been read, hey, by all means, let's give all praise to Yahweh Bahashim Yashai. Hopefully, this is beneficial to someone. Yeah, let's get into it. So this is Second Samuel chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister. So this means beautiful. Fair means beautiful. Whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her. And Ammon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and Ammon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. Subtle? Yes, so. And he said unto him, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother's Absalom's sister. It's like, okay, continue. Verse 5. And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick, and when thy father come to see of thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat. Once again, meat means food. And dress the meat in my sight that I may see and eat it at her hand, right? So let's see. Actually, that's pretty obvious. I won't even get the precept for it. Anyway, continue. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down, and she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Ammon said, Have out all men before me, have out all men from me, and they went out every man from him. Okay, so all the men left the room. And Ammon said unto Tamar, Bring the meat into thy chamber, that I may eat that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them into the chamber to Ammon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. This is a sin, sleeping with your family members, your near relatives, as scripture says in Leviticus, I believe. So near kin. Yep. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. See? Do not this foolish folly. So don't do this foolish stuff, right? Because it's a sin, right? And she said, none of this stuff should be done in all Israel, right? Because it's a sin, right? So in Leviticus 20 and 17, that is the precept. So none of you shall approach any one of his close relatives to uncover nakedness. This includes siblings, close family members. And that is what it's referring to. When it means uncover thy nakedness, it means, have intercourse with them. So, yep. Let's continue. Verse 13, and I wither till I cause my shame to go. And as for thee, thou shalt be one as be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. Howbeit he will not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than he, forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Ammon said unto her, arise, be gone. Wow. So he basically, forced her, and then because she didn't give herself willingly, he hated her for it. That's crazy. Right, let's continue. And she said unto him, there is no cause, this evil is sending me away greater than the other that thou did unto me, but he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him, and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her, or lock the door after her. And she had a garment of diverse colours upon her, for which robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled. Then his servants brought her out, bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head, and rent her garment of diverse colours that were on her. So he had garments to show women were, virgins back in the day, apparently. And it had diverse colours on it. So, okay. And laid her hand on her head and went on crying. Absalom, her brother, said unto her, have Amnon thy brother been with thee? But hold now thy peace. My sister, he is thy brother, regard not this thing. But Tamar remained desolate in her brother's Absalom's house. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. So King David was angry. And Absalom spoke unto his brother Amnon neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Ammon because he had forced his sister Tamar. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shears in Baalhazor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, behold, now thy servant hath sheep shears. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said to Absalom, nay, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee? But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, mark ye now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine. And when I say unto you, smite Amnon, then kill him, fear not, for have I not commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man got him up on his mule and fled. And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom have slain all the king's sons, there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tore his garments and lay on the earth. All his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shimea, David's brother, answered and said, let not my lord suppose that they will have slain all the young men, the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead. So only Amnon died, for by the appointment of Absalom This had been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore let not my lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, or Ammon only is dead. But Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said unto the king, behold, the king's sons come, as thy servant said, so it is. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very sore. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ehud, king of Geshur, and David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. Yeah. So, oof, man, people can hold vengeance in their heart for a very long time. Because remember, this was after 2 whole years, man. 2 whole years. And then, Absalom killed Ammon for what he did to his sister. So, 2 whole years, man. That's a long time, but, man, don't forget. Hey, let's continue. Verse 14. Now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa, and fetched thence a wise woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had a long time mourned for the dead, and come to the king and speak on this man unto him. So Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and did obeisance, and said, Help, O king. He said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, I am indeed a widow woman, and my husband dead. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and they two strove together in the field. There was none to and there was none to part them, but the one smote the other and slew him. And behold, the whole family is riven against thine handmaid. And they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him, for the life of his brother whom he slew. And we will destroy there also. And so they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. The king said unto the woman, Go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My lord, the king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house. The king and his throne be guiltless. And the king said, Whosoever saith all unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. Then she said, I pray thee, let the king remember the Lord thy God. Thou wouldest not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. That as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall to the earth. Then the woman said, Let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one more word speak one more word, my lord, unto the king. And he said, Say on. And the woman said, Wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against thy people of God? For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty, that the king doeth not fetch home again his banished. For we must needs die, For we must needs die, and are as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither doth God respect a person. Yet doeth he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him. Now therefore that I am come to speak of this thing unto my lord the king, it is because the people have made me afraid, and thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid, or the king will hear. For the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that will destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of God. Then thine handmaid said, the word of my lord king shall not be comfortable, for as an angel of God, so is my lord the king to discern good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God will be with thee. Then the king answered and said unto him, hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my lord the king now speak. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my lord the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from right hand or to the left from all that my lord the king hath spoken. For thy servant Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. To fetch about this form of speech, have thy servant Joab done this thing? And my Lord is wise, according to the wisdom of an angel of God. Know all the things that are on the earth, that are in the earth. King said unto Joab, behold now, I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself, and thanked the king, and said, Joab said, today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord, O king, in that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, let him turn to his own house, and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. For in all Israel there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty, from the sole of his foot even to the crown of his head. There was no blemish in him. And when he polled his hair, for it was at every year's end that he polled it, because the hair was heavy on him, for he had long hair. Therefore he polled it. For he weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight. Wait, so okay, let me see. Let me see verse 26 in another version. Maybe it doesn't mean he has long hair. Maybe he tied it. Let me see. Now he cut his hair only once a year, and then only because it was so heavy. When he weighed it out, came to 5 pounds. It was just heavy. Alright, let's go back and read verse 27. And Absalom there was born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. She was a woman of fair countenance, so she was pretty. So Absalom dwelt 2 years in Jerusalem and saw not the king's face. There Absalom sent to Joab, have sent him to the king, but he would not come to him. And when he sent him again the second time, he would not come. For he said unto his servants, see, Joab's field is near mine. Ye have barley there, go and set on fire. And Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house, and said unto him, wherefore have thy servants set my field on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent unto thee, saying, Come hither, that I may send thee to the king. Today, wherefore am I come from Seir? It had been good for me to have been there still. Therefore, let me see the king's face, and if there be any iniquity, let him kill me. So Joab came to the king and told him he had called for Absalom. He came to the king, bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king. The king, Absalom. So happy to see Absalom. It came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots, horses, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early, stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when a man that had a controversy came for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, Of what sea art thou? He said, Thy servant is of one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king here. And Absalom said, Moreover, O that I were made judge in the land, that every man which have any suit or cause might come unto me, I would do justice, so that when a man came nigh to him to do him obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. Of this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go pay my vow which I vowed unto the Lord in Hebron. For thy servants vowed a vow while I abode in Geshur in Syria, saying, If the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord. He said to him, Go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of a trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. And with Absalom went 200 men after Jerusalem that were called. They went in their simplicity. They knew not anything. And Absalom sent from Ahithophel, the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. Conspiracy was strong. The people and continually with Absalom. There came a messenger to David, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Rise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. The king's servants said unto the king, Behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king went forth, and all his household after him, left 10 women, which were concubines, the house. The king went forth, and all the people after him, tarried in a place that was afar off. All his servants passed on beside him, all the Cherethites, all the Pelethites, the Gittites, 600 men which came after him. Gath. Then said the king to Ai the Gittite, Wherefore goest thou with us? Return to thy place and abide with the king, for thou art a stranger, also an exile. Wherefore thou camest but yesterday, should I take this day, make thee go up and down with us? And I go whither I may, return thou and take back thy brethren mercy with thee. And Ittai answered the king, said, As the Lord liveth, And as my lord the king liveth, surely in what place my lord the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also will thy servant be. David said to Ittai, go and pass over. And Ittai the Gittite passed over, and all his men, all the little ones that were with him. All the country wept with a loud voice. All the people passed over. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron. All the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zodek also and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant. They set down the ark of God, and Abiathar went up until all the people had gone down passing out the sea. Take son of Zadok, carry back the ark of God into the city. I shall find favor in the eyes of the Lord. He will bring me again, show me both it and his habitation. But if he say thus, Daka, but if he thus say, I have no delight in thee, behold, here I am, let him do to me as seemeth good unto him. Then king said unto Zadok the priest, art thou not a seer? Turn into the city, your two sons with you, Ahimaaz the son of Jonathan of Abiathar. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to certify me. Zadok therefore and Abiathar carried the ark of God again to Jerusalem. They tarried there. And David went up by the ascent of Mount Olivet, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered. Went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head. They went up weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. David said, O Lord, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. It came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount, where he worshipped God, behold, Ishai the Archite came to meet with him with his coat rent, earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, If thou passest on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Ahithophel. Ahithophel? Slack if I'm butchering. And hast thou not there with thee Zadok and Abiathar the priest? Therefore it shall be that what things soever thou shalt hear out of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abiathar the priest. Behold, they have there with them two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. So Ishai, David's friend, came unto the city. Absalom came to the city. A quick thing to take away from this: incest is a sin. Don't be having intercourse with close of relatives or you can, because it is also referred to as in covering someone's naked, scriptures and stuff. So yeah, no incest. Yeah, not heroes only. And this has been Brother Jude and Shalom.